You might have guessed it from the title. Today I'm going to be reviewing Lomography's 800 speed colour film. Now, Portrait 800s, I say it's a direct competitor. That's currently selling at £13.20 a roll. I found this Lomography pack for around 15 and you get 3 in it. So at a third of the price, is it a third as good? I've headed out into central London. I'm sort of at the backs of the Thames with the Tate Gallery in front of me. I am hoping that the light levels change and vary a bit throughout the day. Had some sunny spells in the morning. It's mid-afternoon now and it's clouded over a bit. Obviously it's a very bright film, so when I'm shooting it in the sun, it's all 1/16th, 1,000th of a second. I've got it loaded in my M6 here, and what I'm going to do is shoot one roll, maybe 2, see what I get, try and vary the subjects up a bit, and let you guys know what it looks like. I'm going to be developing it this evening, so hopefully the video is live this evening, and I will be doing my usual thing, so let's get on with it.
Despite it not being that well suited for bright sunlight, I tried to find images that would show off how this film responds to different colours. Here in this shot of the birds you can see that the blue is quite pastel. It also tends to overrepresent orange, brown, reds, that kind of end of the colour spectrum. Let's have a little look at the grain on this image. It's quite a significant crop, but I'll leave this up for a bit so you can make your own mind up.
In my intro I called it a bright film. What I meant was a fast film. With ISO 800 film you're going to have high shutter speeds or narrow apertures. There's not much you can do about that. If the sun is out you are going to be shooting at your fastest shutter speed with an aperture around f5.6 or f8. That might seem like a limitation if you're trying to get the shallow depth of field associated with sort of f1.4, f1.8, but if you are attempting to zone focus or you don't mind having a faster shutter speed to really kind of freeze motion, give yourself that sort of easy zone focusing, it's not that big a drawback. ISO 800 is great if you're going to be moving from indoors to outdoors as well, so I'd call this a very versatile film. It does have that drawback that you can't use fast lenses with it, but it does also let you use kind of any lens in any situation. What I'll do is I'll try and find somewhere dark and show what it looks like when it's really kind of pushing the low light. But for this normal kind of day-to-day thing, if you don't need f1.4, it is not a bad choice.
This open-air bookstore is under one of the bridges on the South Bank. I thought it would be a good place to show off the colour response. We got the arrangement of books. This image really shows off how the red can pop over all the other colours in the scene. If you look at the girl's beanie hat, it does stick out a bit. Although the colours aren't inaccurate, they do their own thing sometimes. They jump out where you don't expect it, specifically with the reds, but also the greens. The blues are a bit more muted with this film. It's a colour palette that I quite enjoy, but I can understand if you wanted that really accurate, true to life thing, you might want to stick to Kodak's Pro film. Lomography has always been about that kind of experimentation, not really caring too much. So if you think about it in context of the business, it's kind of par for the course. They're not going to be strict, they're going to be a little bit wacky, but in an artistically pleasing way, or at least that's the hope. I took a quick snap of my tube home. I took this to show off the low light capabilities. Obviously there is artificial lighting in the tube, but look how bright this is. I probably took this with my 28 2.8. So not normally a lens you'd expect to be able to use underground. And look at that red door as well, really popping out again. I wasn't going to put this one in, but I wanted to show what it looks like when it's a bit underexposed. You can see my meter got fooled by the glare at the top of the frame. There's a lot of sun on the water, which I think made me underexpose this by maybe 1 or 2 stops. Quite a different look, but not one I'm a fan of. Jumping out of London, here are some other shots I've taken. Here's a landscape from North Cornwall. You can see that the colours look great, but if we zoom in, the grain does rear its head. Again, just using it as a point and shoot. I was there on a walk and I saw a nice view, and this film did a great job of capturing it as far as I'm concerned. I have printed this, it did come out fine. This one exhibits the slightly over the top colours that sometimes creep in. It was sunset light, so there is that kind of gold cast to things, but it's a little bit vibrant. We got this one as well. This is taken out of a plane window, which explains the kind of scratches on the right. But you can see, I mean, they're not accurate, but they're fun colours, and that's the point I'm kind of trying to get across. This shot of Katie was taken 2 or 3 stops over, so that would be 200 or 100 on the meter. The reason I did this was because I wanted to use a slightly wider aperture. I think this is probably taken at around f2, 2.8. I did that for the background separation, but because it's colour negative film, I wasn't too scared about losing my highlights. I have lost a bit of the sky, but I really like the punch it gives the colours. It does look like, it looks very different to the rest of the roll, but that is something that people might want to use creatively, especially because this film does preclude the use of fast primes and direct sunlight. So if you're worried about your 1.4 lenses or your 1.8 lenses, then this is what it will look like if you ignore your meter and shoot it at 1.4 in bright sun. Another thing that benefits from overexposure is the grain. It does look lessened. If we have a look at this 1-to-1 crop, you can see that it seems a little bit better than it was before. It's still grainy, but we've taken it from kind of extreme grain to medium grain, and I think that is worth mentioning. Having just shown you that underexposed shot and talking about how the colours are a bit off, you might think I'm about to come down hard on this film, but I really enjoy it. I think it's a great low-cost alternative. You know what you're getting. It is grainy, the colours can be a little bit off, but it's an excellent and very versatile film just for having a bit of fun. It's the kind of film you can load in the evening, you can shoot in low light levels, but then you can take out and get perfect exposures and midday as well. It's not specialist in the way that Velvia 50 or Delta 3200 and that caliber of films are, where you kind of have a situation where you can use it and then 50 situations where you can't. It's something that I think is great to keep in your bag so that you can break it out, you can shoot through a roll in those conditions where your other films aren't going to work, and you can know that you're not breaking the bank, and that even if the colours aren't perfectly accurate, there's an element of fun to it. I really enjoy it. I've bought a few more boxes since. You might notice that I'm not in London anymore. I'm actually in New Zealand, and my next video, which I hope to do next week, so maybe it will be in June, is going to be review of the 28 Elmerit. It's a 28 2.8. It's the lens actually that I use for a lot of this review, and I'm going to do that in Hong Kong, so that should be fun. Sorry for the break, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for next week's video.